think the 12-day war ended. I think we have a ceasefire agreement in Israel and Gaza, and I think we're better off. I think objectively there's been de-escalation as opposed to escalation, and I don't think that's by accident. And I think if we impeach him and we follow that doctrine, I think we end up in a much worse place.
I think that we would be in a much better place if Donald Trump had simply moved to cutting off all foreign aid to Israel and supporting this war and not attacked Iran in the first place.
Well, folks, one of your favorite people in the world, Dave Smith, spoke to Steven Crowder about U.S. funding to Israel. This is a debate that you do not want to miss. I'm the other Barack, and I'm coming to you live and direct here from where? I'm waiting. That's right, I'm in the Holy Land in Israel. If you have not figured that out by now, welcome to the Israel. This is the holiest land in the world. Can't even fucking do a fake Israeli accent because I'm not from Israel originally. But I'm here now to show you the boots on the ground reality of what mainstream media does not show you. If you are landing on this channel for the first time ever, please press that subscribe button. Make sure you press the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss out on any of the action. Let's get into the video.
But I don't know. I don't really agree with your overall characterization.
Well, it's not that you disagree with my overall characterization. Your question was, name me any wars he's ended. And then you move the goalposts, right?
No. When I said wars he's ended, I didn't mean like he picked up a phone call and then a conflict like between two other parties. I'm saying wars that America's been involved in.
So diplomacy doesn't count there.
Or fighting.
So none of those would count.
That's good. No, I'm not saying it doesn't count. I'm saying it's not exactly a war he ended.
Well, I want to have this conversation in good faith. And if you say, name me any wars he's ended, and I go, okay, Thailand, Cambodia, Israel, Gaza, ceasefire, Armenia, Azerbaijan, you could argue, hold on a second. You could argue that Yemen, really a proxy war with Iran, which kind of brings us back to the initial point. It's certainly more than other presidents. So picking up the phone and engaging in diplomacy, which I thought you would be supportive of, he's done it more than other presidents. And I would say he's set apart pretty significantly, which is why I don't want to impeach him. I don't think that would make America stronger, more effective. I think it would make us weaker. That's really the crux of this. I think he's better than other presidents. I think he's the most effective president of our lifetime. And I don't think it's an impeachable offense. He asked me which wars did he end. I just gave you a list. Do those count?
Well, it's again not okay. Look, if you're talking about the war between Israel, if you can call it a war, Israel's destruction of Gaza, yes, after funding and facilitating the whole thing for his entire second term of his presidency, he's gotten a very loosely holding together ceasefire as of right now. So yes, as I've said on my show and said publicly, I give him credit for that. That part was better. The funding it for the his entire presidency, which you seem to agree with, that part was wrong.
I agree with the funding of it, you're saying?
No, I said, which you already said.
Oh, yeah, I agree with you. Yes, sorry.
You agree with me.
No, Dave, I'm just making, I agree with you.
So, okay.
You and I share that same common ground, but I just think it's important.
Okay.
Dave, you said interrupting. I've got a timer clock going. I don't think you're going to like the way it looks. Okay. So I was listing the other examples of Donald Trump being a non-interventionist in comparison to Biden, for example. Even just using your example there, talk about funding the war, Israel, Gaza. Ceasefire's pretty damn quick into Donald Trump's presidency. And I'm not saying it's perfect. I think it's better than no ceasefire. I think picking up the phone and ending conflicts is better than not, but we still find ourselves at the intersect of impeachment. And so, let's move on, you stand by it. I believe that the impeachment, which you called for before the surgical strike on Iranian enrichment facilities, was based on him starting another illegal baseless war, right? That would be the reason for it?
Yeah, sure. A war of choice, a war of aggression, an illegal war. The Constitution is very clear. You need Congress to declare a war. Every single war since World War II has been illegal. And there was absolutely no need to launch those strikes. They pose no threat to us.
Okay. So that's where I would disagree, but I also understand that you're consistent, and I do appreciate it. You think that every war since World War II is illegal, every military strike, and every president is a war criminal who should be executed. I don't think that's realistic. And if you look at the War Powers Act, it delegates the authority exclusively to the president to make that kind of a call, and they have the right to withdraw.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, to be clear, I'm not arguing that that's realistic, but in the same sense that, like, you might say there should be no abortions, and I could respond to you and say, hey, that's not realistic. And that is true. It's not realistic that at any point soon in the United States of America, there'll be no abortions, but that's what's right. And so I'm just staking out my claim of what I believe is right.
Right. Okay. So you mean morally you would like to see him impeached?
I mean, morally, I think it's immoral to launch wars of aggression and choice is what I mean.
Okay. So, but then you said that that would be unconstitutional in an illegal war. Obviously, the Supreme Court disagrees. Obviously, every other president who was far more hawkish disagrees. And obviously, even right now, when you're talking about Democrats who love, I wish you and I, come on, you got to agree with this. I wish you and I had a passion for anything as much as these people have a passion for trying to impeach or political theater against Donald Trump. And that didn't really even gain any steam. Because no one, aside from Dave Smith and a few other people, think this was World War III or an unconstitutional strike.
When did I say it was World War III, Stephen?
You talked about escalating this again back on social media, saying this could lead us into World War III. That's why you wanted to
impeach
impeach it.
Please show my specific quote about World War III and what I said.
I will find it and I can provide it publicly.
No, because I hear a lot of people saying this to me, but I don't remember saying it. So
Okay.
when did I say
You didn't
World
think
War
it was going to
III?
escalate global conflict?
Oh, I was concerned about escalation, but that's a very different thing than saying this is going to lead to World War III.
Okay, well, I'll rephrase then, because you did say you didn't call for it. I'm like, well, burying beneath the prison is execution, right? I don't want to do the wordplay thing. If you didn't say World War III, I apologize. It would be other people. I'll clarify that.
No. I'm not listen, I'm not saying you are lying. I'm just pointing out I don't think I said that.
Well, can we agree that that was a tenor and tone for a lot of people calling for impeaching Donald Trump? Escalation, global conflict. Right.
Yeah, there were a lot of people concerned about that.
Yes,
sure.
exactly. Is that where we are?
Are we in World War III?
No, I didn't say World War III. Has it escalated or has it de-escalated? Because I'm looking at it. Hold on a second. I said don't impeach because I actually think that our only chance at de-escalation is a president like Trump. And I think at this point, he wasn't impeached. I think an unbelievable surgical strike, agree or disagree with it, was conducted with no collateral damage, with planes out over the ocean before they woke up in the morning, and no one even said a word. That's why they couldn't retaliate, because they have no way to. I think the 12-day war ended. I think we have a ceasefire agreement in Israel and Gaza, and I think we're better off. I think objectively there's been de-escalation as opposed to escalation, and I don't think that's by accident. And I think if we impeach him and we follow that doctrine, I think we end up in a much worse place.
I think that we would be in a much better place if Donald Trump had simply moved to cutting off all foreign aid to Israel and supporting this war and not attacked Iran in the first place. But yes, it is absolutely. It is okay, but that's a pretty big deal. So it is absolutely true that after we dropped those bunker busters on the Iranian nuclear sites, and then they responded with, the kind of a typical Iranian response where they just wanted to save face, but really wanted to make sure that they didn't escalate the situation at all and gave advanced warning before they sent those missiles back. Donald Trump took that off ramp immediately and did de-escalate things after that. And I think it's great that he did that. Again, the whole thing never needed to be started to begin with, but we'll see. We're kind of in halftime of this war now, and we'll see where this goes. Every time Netanyahu's interviewed about this, he's still talking about the capabilities that Iran is building back up. They're vowing to rebuild their nuclear program. Donald Trump is saying that'll be a big problem if it happens again. I don't know. We'll see.
I don't think Iran saber rattling is anything new, right? I think that's happening no matter who's president. Yeah,
that's right. And we'll see. We'll see where this goes.
I do think the ceasefires are pretty new. I think they're pretty unique, and I think it's kind of a calling card of Donald Trump, which is why I wouldn't want to see him impeached or buried beneath the prison. I also, and here's the thing, when we're talking about Israel funding the war, we can go to that. We can go back to Iran if you would like to, but I agree with you in not funding. And this is a genuine question. If we stop funding Israel, right, stop foreign aid, I want to use the correct term, foreign aid to Israel, as well as, for example, Syria, list the country, my answer is yes. We also bridled Israel quite a bit, which I will say I'm a fan of. They don't know what the fuck they're doing, one of the greatest moments in presidential history. I don't think there's a world in which Netanyahu apologizes to Qatar outside of President Trump walking him. And I think that we saw even since then, going in the timeline, Donald Trump and Vice President J.D. Vance saying, if they annex the West Bank, we'll stop all funding, right? I think that we're leading the dance, and I think that without the bridling of the United States, in other words, if it's two guys, we lock them in a racquetball court, Israel, Palestine, you work it out, I think you'd see a much worse genocide. But I'd let the chips fall where they may, either direction.
This video is not meant to promote Trump and make him seem, Stephen, by saying he's the greatest president we've ever seen, I think is just, that's not the agenda here. However, the case for Israel to not be receiving the aid that it receives from America is usually made by people who conceptually don't understand the geopolitical landscape of how Israel plays an integral role in preventing the same radical Islamists from also penetrating the United States of America. Israel is an outpost for America to stop them from engaging in further war. And sadly, Israel says, we'll fight this war. We are the only democracy in the Middle East. We've had to fight this war even previous to 1948, as Jews never had the opportunity to live peacefully in their ancestral homeland. That's what the establishment of Israel is. The establishment of Israel is not the first time Israel was ever a state. The nation, the Am of Israel, has been there since inception. It is our indigenous homeland. 1948 is when we said, enough is enough. We are going to create the state now. And when I say create, on paper create, but it was created because it was given to us. It was the chosen land, biblically. Israel has been there. It will always be there. The Jews have been there and they will always be there. And they play a role in, unfortunately, you could say unfortunately, but at the same time, it is our only home, in being the only democracy in the Middle East as an outpost from letting this theology of radical Islamism go into New York City and go into California. And it's already made its way in there. Without Israel, first of all these nations would be fighting each other. Like, you would only see more war between Lebanon and Egypt and Jordan and Syria and Iran and Yemen and Tunisia and Libya. Like, you would see way more of this. But Israel, this is why it's like the awkward case for those who are against it, of like, they don't realize this because of the information they've been given. But if they were given the right information, they would not be criticizing Israel. They would be thanking Israel. This is why you see like Christians who thank Israel. You see these bystanders who thank Israel. I'm being serious with you. Like, you go to America and you speak to people on the street who, they don't really have like any skin in the game in Middle Eastern conflict, Israel-Palestine, nor do they want to. But they conceptually understand the role Israel plays abroad. And by definition, Israel does have a surviving factor that is helped with America because they are giving them the money to be able to fight this war abroad. And if it wasn't for Israel, let me tell you, the amount of American soldiers that would be at satellite offices, branches right now in the Middle East is insane. You would see way more American soldiers dying if Israel was not there to be a democracy. That's why they're allies, bro. Dave will understand this at some point. I have a lot of confidence he will. Thank you so much for all your support. Here's a note from me. Here are 4 ways you can help us grow if you believe in our mission. On Buy Me a Coffee and PayPal, you can directly contribute to helping this message grow and reach more people across the world. If you want to join the inner circle, join our Patreon with different tiers, and of course, our Discord community, which is free with people from all across the world. The links to every single one are in the description. And last but not least, to the Other Brock community, I love you. Ani ohev otchem. I'll see you guys next time.